But I would hope that we don't just say that somebody get with the Bays, because we say that every time they come, because it's uncomfortable to hear what they're saying if what they're saying is true. And so then it does make us look suspect if we just sit up here and listen to this and we do nothing.
And to Councilmember Brooks's point, we would like to see a resolution of the Bay complaint. And that the issue is if they're wrong, but there should be closure brought to this family. They've suffered a great deal. The loss of their family members, the loss of their businesses, their lives have been upended and interrupted, and we should know the truth about that. Thank you, officer. Councilmember Brooks, are you back in the queue?
I am.
And these two issues that these two groups of people are raising are really intertwined, because the fact that we're wasting our investigators on this nonsense is part of why they haven't had the time to get to this very serious problem with regard to the issues that the Bay family's been struggling with for over a decade. So if we want to actually get a report back on what's up with that, and if for this money that we're paying this person, have some response back to us on these issues, how do we go about doing that?
They're responsible for allowing young men to carry guns that assaulted John Bay, shot him 5 times, killed Chauncey Bailey. Now these same cops are engaged in a conspiracy to sex traffic 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds and 14-year-olds and under 18-year-old girls. This is a criminal enterprise. If it were a corporation, we would be indicting them under the RICO federal statutes of racketeering.
So that we have to tell you, if you don't believe us, ask Chief Figueroa, is it better for maybe an independent body to look into this? Because one of the times I followed up with Chief Figueroa when he was out of town, his voicemail said refer calls to Deputy Chief Downing. So why would I call Deputy Chief Downing to complain about his conduct when he was a lieutenant? That doesn't make sense. So, and I don't believe that is a genuine attempt to find the truth of the matter.
I did have the question from the Bays.
Go ahead.
So yeah, I've been meeting with the Bays, we are investigating the cases that they have talked about. There's no question that as they were notified and the letter told them that there were some significant failures within. There were some significant failures within the department that were discovered in the investigation that they received a letter on. We are looking at the case, and I have given them one letter already stating that we would as a department make any and all files available to any jurisdiction who's authorized to do an investigation. So and I've given them that letter. We've talked about, or they've made it clear the entities they'd feel most comfortable. I am not comfortable, and I totally understand their reason for wanting an outside investigation. I totally get it. And I am not at a point where I'm calling for an independent investigation. We are still looking at the case as it stands right now. I completely understand what their concerns are as I've expressed that. And we'll make ourselves and any and all information we have on the case available to any identified group that may or may not do an outside investigation. I am not comfortable issuing an additional letter until we've gone through all the evidence in the case to make sure that we've covered everything, because I don't want to have to come back and give them another letter. I have been meeting with them to give them updates. They've called me, and I'm happy to continue to meet to give you the progress. I'm not at a point to issue a final letter saying this is what we found moving forward. Yep.
With respect to the issues that Mr. Bays have raised. I think that we don't have to wait for a federal monitor in order for us to determine what happened in this case. And I think that it is shameful that people have to come for years in and years out to get public disclosure with respect to what happened in cases. I've listened to the Bays talk about documents being lost, about things not being investigated, and at some point we should want to put these things to bed. So the same with respect to the issues that Mr. Hazard raises. We put people off as if they're gadflies or that they come and they're crazy and they keep raising these issues and we poo-poo them. But at some point, we should want to make sure that our systems have integrity and that they are a place that people can find the relief they seek when they feel that they are wrong. And if something's wrong with our processes, then we should seek to address that, not simply have people come up year in and year out with the same complaint, and we just let them come and then we let them go. So I would hope, and I know through the chair to the city administrator that you're leaving, but I would hope that we don't just say that somebody get with the Bays, because we say that every time they come, because it's uncomfortable to hear what they're saying if what they're saying is true. And so then it does make us look suspect if we just sit up here and listen to this and we do nothing. And so I would hope that we would find a place to publicly address these issues where people come to us time and time again with the same complaint. And so, Mr. City Administrator, on your way out, I hope that we will get the documents from the Bays and that we will publicly address if there were mistakes, then let's correct them. I don't know that anybody did anything intentional, and that's not what I'm trying to imply. But we don't get to be a better city if we turn a blind eye to the complaints of our residents and we don't address some of these things. So I would hope that tonight, if you've brought some documents, I know you have other documents, that we would get them, and that as this council, we would commit to getting some answers for this, because it shouldn't take an extension of a federal monitor's contract to address this. This is our department.
Thank you, Councilmember Brooks.
For that task 34, which is probably the most dynamic task and sensitive issue of all the tasks, quite frankly.
And then with respect to the concerns raised by the Bays tonight, without really speaking directly to their case, I'm curious about the process when we find evidence of missing files, when an investigation has been closed but has not been investigated. What is the internal process for quality control around that? How do we reopen cases? And what is the chain of accountability? And when does it land in the administrator's office or our OIG division for compliance or reprimand where people have clearly failed? I mean, we talk about records leaving. Like, what is the protocol around that? What is the remedy for that? What is the punishment?